There's something to be said when a company in our industry reaches a certain age. And this year, Ground Zero is celebrating its 30th year in business. This is a huge milestone. And to celebrate, they've come up with a whole collection of limited edition product that we're going to talk about today. We've got our product expert, Jacob Brown, joining us. We're going to dig deep and find out what these new limited edition 30th anniversary products are coming to you from Ground Zero. This is CMA Connected, brought to you by SiriusXM, all about ground zero car audio. And it starts now. What's going on, guys, and welcome to another CMA Connected, brought to you by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu, and you are locked into CMA Networks, where we talk mobile electronics day in and day out. Today, our featured brand is Ground Zero, an international brand based out of Germany that certainly has a tremendous following worldwide. We have our product expert in the house, Jacob Brown. Jacob, this is a big year. Why don't you break down for us what our conversation is going to be about today?
Yeah, Ben, thanks for having me. 30th anniversary edition products, 30th anniversary. It's a big milestone to reach. And in typical Ground Zero fashion, we like to do fun things. So you kind of chuckled when you were talking about the products that we're going to be talking about today. And no, I feel the same way. It's absolutely cool to see what they did in celebration of this milestone.
Well, those two words always get me, and those two words being limited edition. I'm a sucker for it, just like everybody else that loves car audio. But first, we're going to go to a quick message from our partner, SiriusXM, reminding you why it's always an awesome add-on sale. And when we come back, let's talk Ground Zero 30th Anniversary Edition gear. Don't you dare go away.
Hey, Paul here with SiriusXM, and I'd like to talk to you about attachment selling and why the SiriusXM product is one of the best things to add, especially since we don't trade dollars with any other category. I could go through all of this, but let's hear what some of our dealers have to say.
It's an easy add-on that takes, 10, 15 minutes if we're running an antenna, 1 minute if we've got an adapter to plug it into the factory SiriusXM antenna, and it's extra money, so no brainer.
I present it to every customer because a lot of customers don't know what all they can do with Sirius. They don't know what all content they could have. It just makes too much sense not to sell it.
It creates a different customer loyalty and customer security when you explain to them why it's a better experience. Just gets them back in the door. And then the next car, they're already asking for it again. So it just keeps selling itself. It makes more sense.
Well, there you have it. You heard from our dealers. Just remember some of the best practices. Make sure you have one on display so you can demo it. Make sure you're taking advantage of our rewards program, because if you're not taking advantage of that, you're leaving even more money on the table. Make sure you got our POP up on display. And other than that, just make sure you're recommending it.
And welcome back to the show. Joining us now is, of course, Jacob Brown from Ground Zero. Jacob, how you doing, sir?
Oh, good, man. You know
I
how
do
it
know how it
goes.
goes, and this is a big year, 30th anniversary. It's hard to believe. You've been on here before, Jacob. We've talked about the history, starting California, then going into Germany, being an engineering-based type of firm. But here it is, 30 years. Now, I've been saving this comment I'm about to put down here as something special, because I noticed in your social media recently that you're using the hashtag #WeAreCarAudio, and that got me thinking. Here on CMA, we get to talk with all the brands, and there certainly are some, legendary, iconic brands that have been in the business, some even longer than Ground Zero. One thing I will say, and I'd like to hear your comments on this, is while other brands have over the years expanded their repertoire, dabbled into other categories of audio, power sports, marine, that sort of thing, Ground Zero has remained almost laser focused on car audio. I'd like to hear your comments on that.
It's funny, and to hear you say that, and to hear you, or to see that you notice little things that we've been doing. But you've talked to Andy, right? So you say that we don't focus, or we don't, dabble in other things. You're absolutely right. Even our power sports guy says we only make car audio gear that even the other segments of the industry have been able to find a home for. And to me, that's the important part, is keeping our DNA true to who we are and what we've always done. And that is car audio. So yes, even though you see a lot of our products in other segments of the industry, it's not who we are. Who we are
Well,
is
not
car
only are
audio.
you car audio, we're going to back that up with how deep you go. Here we are looking at the industry, and let's be honest, car audio over the last decade or two, the catalog selection has getting, I would say arguably leaner and slimmer than it ever has. Meanwhile, here's Ground Zero putting down the thickest, fattest catalog on the planet that has to do with car audio. So I want to hear your comments on that as well. Is this a representation of the actual business, or this is just what you do?
Yes to both, I guess. We're a worldwide brand. So there are certain segments of the industry in other countries, other continents that may take far higher priority over maybe a bulk type of product or a value market type of product. So you might look at Southeast Asia, for example, and they're popping out a bunch of high-end reference cars and a bunch of mobile karaoke machines and maybe not a lot in the middle.
For our
That's
audience,
really weird,
look it up,
right?
Google it. That's actually a thing, just so you know.
Carl from Germany has no, was it Carl? Somebody said and referred to it as karaoke.
Yep.
And it's actually a thing, like you said. So by building a product catalog that is phenomenal in both those regard, or SPL competition for high output, absolutely gnarly subs and amplifiers to power those subs, or reference, and we look at Ultra. We built a catalog of absolutely phenomenal products to be able to make sure that every listener is getting exactly what they want. It's the experience that we are trying to.
I was just going to say, to add to that, if you guys are interested, make sure you check out the workshop that Jacob does. He kind of breaks down of this big, robust catalog that Ground Zero has, just how to break that down from the series of speakers to the type of listener. So I do encourage you to check that out. Okay. Today, though, we're talking about some really special limited edition gear. We're going to break it down for y'all. There's 3 different categories. I'm not going to spill the beans. I'm going to let my man Jacob do that. But these are limited edition in celebration of the 30th anniversary. And Jacob, start with, I think what's going to be probably the most popular just because of the nature of things. It is a new component set that's all about the 30th anniversary. So take it away. Tell us about the GZC 165 30A.
Yeah, Ben, the GZC 165-30A. The easiest way to be able to talk about this is it's 2 of my favorite component kits put into one. So we took the absolutely kind of fan favorite, amazing, fun to listen to hydrogen mid-bass driver, did some tweaks on it, did some updates. So we had an opportunity to go, there's some improvements that we can make, so we're going to do that. And the nuclear tweeter, the 28 millimeter silk dome that comes with, or that is available for the nuclear line, and put them together in the same passive 2-way component kit. So out of the box, ready to rock in just a standard 2-channel environment, or run it active, 4-channel amp, DSP, all the fun stuff that goes along with it. And the reason why, again, I think this is such a cool component kit is it gave us the ability to appeal to detail and accuracy with phenomenal mid-bass, more so than other kits individually could do. And in typical anniversary edition fashion, it's what Ground Zero is kind of known for. Is it's always a something plus kit, and by being able to bring something to market that the everyday listener or that the average consumer would appeal to me is absolutely the biggest part of this. We want to celebrate our anniversary with everybody who wants to celebrate with us.
All right, a really slick set, again, limited edition 30th anniversary component set. Now, obviously, when Ground Zero does things like this, they kind of make it a complete set. It's kind of like Pokemon. You got to collect them all. So the next piece here is going to be critical, of course. We're talking about an amplifier. This, in fact, is a 4-channel amplifier. And Jacob, why don't you tell us a little bit more on the details of this limited edition GZA 125.4-30A?
Yeah, this amplifier is something near and dear special to my heart. And that is a stripped down, custom built, massively updated version of some of my favorite amplifiers. And the reason why I think that's important is, again, it's not an over the top amp. It's not anything that's unobtainium, so to speak. But it's a phenomenal sounding everyday slash SQ bias amplifier. So by taking the uranium amp, trimming some heatsink down, making it a little bit thicker by re-adding the mass, changing the behavior of the cooling system, we were able to make the amp maybe a little more installer friendly. By eliminating the entire crossover network, we were able to streamline the signal path, making what was already a phenomenal sounding amplifier even better. And then having custom built internals for this amp to help tweak the sound signature again, just ever so slightly, has made for an absolutely fun experience. When I say something near and dear to my heart, direct drive amplifiers or even limited control amplifiers to me are important to this industry because it is how we are getting the most pure sound through an amplifier that contains a lot of different devices. So by being able to strip that back out and take the amplifier back to almost a more raw nature, it allows the music to do what music does. It allows the amplifier to recreate what it's told to do and not add a bunch of other information that we don't want. So this GZA limited edition 30th anniversary edition amplifier is probably at this current point in time my favorite 4-channel on the market.
So we're 2 out of 3 down on this checklist of limited edition gear coming to you from Ground Zero, celebrating their 30 years in business. And I gotta say, these look pretty sharp. And if you're a collector like I am, then obviously this is something that is a must-have on the list. Now, there is the third part to this, and of course, we're going to be talking about bass. So I'm curious to see what Ground Zero has cooked up when it comes to their 30th anniversary GZW 12-30A subwoofer.
Yeah, so the GZW. How do I tell you what I really feel about this thing? It is a hydrogen sub on steroids. It's a 12-inch with the motor and coil configuration from a 15. It handles gobs and gobs of power. It loves a vented enclosure, but being able to see this sub compete in SQ in small sealed enclosures is absolutely weird to me. I mean, it truly is almost one of the jack of all trades subwoofers that I've seen as of late. And again, we've built some very cool stuff over the last 5 years, but I think this is the one that should be the one. And I know that that's odd or horrible to say, but I think to me, it checks all the boxes. It's fun to listen to. It's accurate. It's detailed. It's quick, but it handles gobs of power. It moves a lot of air. It really is a fan favorite plus plus plus. And why to me it is so important that it is the anniversary edition. It is the testament to us as an engineering company celebrating this amount of time in this industry, doing cool stuff with our friends.
All right, Jacob. So let's wrap this up. Obviously, pretty exciting times. 30 years for Ground Zero, 3 really cool collectible type items. I see that you're very passionate about the subwoofer, and rightfully so. For somebody getting into Ground Zero, would you even recommend this kind of be a starting point, or what's your feeling on this?
Starting point, I don't know. We had talked about it a bit ago in the workshop that we did. It depends on who the customer is. This is definitely a phenomenal set of products for the average customer. I believe the sub is going to be super versatile, whether it's reference or SQ, reference or daily listener, or maybe borderline some SPL, depending on how many you want to put in a blow through in the bed of a truck. Amps are amps, and I hate to say it that way, but good, phenomenal sounding amplifiers go with any build. And we've always been a proponent of that, right? It doesn't matter, you have to use the most expensive amplifier. You've got to use the cheapest because you're a cheap. It doesn't matter. Use a great amplifier that's going to foot the bill. So sure, the amplifier, the sub, super versatile. But the component set to me really is, I think, almost the epitome of that daily listener mentality. So is it going to be overly detailed and tweaky and super accurate and sometimes maybe a little fatiguing because of its correctness, like a SQ reference build? No, this is going to be a lot more forgiving. It's going to be a lot easier to listen to. It's going to be a lot easier to tune. It's just that, to me, stepping stone, starting point. You get somebody in there, you can go any direction with that daily listener.
I couldn't agree more. I've had the opportunity to hear these models in their regular lineup rendition. And so I'm excited to hear the difference, that's for sure. But you're right. You put those three components together as presented today. Just for people tuning in, what amplifier would you recommend for to drive that sub out of the lineup if you're going to complete the set?
I mean, any solid, well-built monoblock is going to work perfectly fine. The amplifier is D2, so obviously something that makes 1,500-ish watts of power at 1 ohm, or heaven forbid you find one that does 1,500-ish watts at 4 ohm. Any phenomenal, good quality amplifier is going to work. And we've got everything from, we've got the Iridium line in up to a 1,500 watt amplifier. We've got our competition line in various power configurations, depending on how many subs you want to do. So, I mean, it doesn't matter. Just use the best amp that you can justify.
Fair enough. All right. So obviously, I saved this most important question for last. I did start this episode by saying this is limited edition. Availability, Jacob. When and what is the availability? Can I even get some right now?
So, as it sits right now, components and subwoofers are shipping. Limited edition, limited quantities. Yes, absolutely. We do have amps inbound. They will be here in the near future. I don't have exact ETAs on that yet, but keep your eyes peeled. I mean, that's the biggest thing. But if you're looking to grab a set of components or a sub, act now. They're moving quick. Get off the couch.
All right. Thanks a lot, Jacob, for coming on today. And that was Ground Zero USA's Jacob Brown joining us for this sesh all about the 30th anniversary edition goodies coming to you from Ground Zero Car Audio. If you want more information, I do encourage you hit up their website. All the specs for the models on today's show are on there at groundzerousa.com. Well, for me, man, it is, first of all, happy birthday, Ground Zero, first and foremost. Wow, what a great journey. And if you guys haven't discovered this brand yet, I do recommend you check it out. These guys are out there at the shows. Their reps are on the road with their demo vehicles. I'll be honest, their demo vehicles are just so consistent. They provide such great experiences. If you're a fan of music, they do have something for everybody. So next time you're at a show, take the time, put your butt into one of these vehicles and take a listen. Other than that, again, I love what they do with these limited edition type products. It makes it feel special. They up, the little tuning that they do, the little differences, the limited edition. It absolutely is fun. And isn't that what car audio is about? Fun? That's it for this CMA Connected, brought to you by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu. Until next time, we connect.